Welcome back, technical traders. This is the Humble Chartist, and today I'll be doing a technical breakdown on Apple. Ticker symbol AAPL. Before we begin, please take a second to give the video a like and subscribe for more charting and price manipulations. In return, I'll tell you guys a joke. So why did the Apple stop running? Because it ran out of juice. Okay, anyway, jokes aside, I really appreciate those who have liked and subscribed to my videos and channel. I'll first start off by analyzing the daily charts, followed by the weekly charts and monthly if necessary. So as you can see, Apple has been doing up a very strong uptrend. This is one of the very few stocks that had a very good uptrend, and even though the recent sell down did not really cause it to had too much selling pressure. You can see that every time we go up too far, we will have some cloud support here. There's a cloud support at pullbacks. So it's a very healthy stock. The buyers are still in control, taking profits along the way, shaking off weak hands, shaking off those people who panic sellers when there's a small correction or then when there's a small pullback. So I'm actually quite bullish on Apple because it's still on a very strong uptrend, and so long as the trend has not reversed, then there is not too much to worry about. So let's take a look at the chart in detail. So our recent high was about 183, 183, 182. That was our recent high before we had a very big slight correction to about 154 to 155. So as you can see, Apple tends to go below the cloud. Usually when the stock goes below the cloud, it tends to be bearish. But at the same time, these market makers, what they will do is they'll tend to push it below the clouds to make retail investors, people who look charts too closely and watch the charts too closely, they'll tend to cut losses, or they'll just sell away, or they'll turn short. So you can see once again, recently we went below the clouds, but we went back above. So when we are coming down, the cloud acts as a support, and when we are going up, the cloud acts as a resistance. So that being said, where are my next resistance and where are my next targets and supports for Apple? Personally, I have a long-term target of Apple of about 191. This can be reached within weeks or reached within months. That's my personal target for Apple at 191. But that being said, I think it is very important to watch the 183 levels, because when we are at 183, these market makers may tend to do a fake breakout. So what do you mean by a fake breakout? So let's take a look at 183 in detail. What exactly is happening here? So you can see what these market makers may do is that they'll tend to break this resistance at 183. So for instance, if let's say we are currently now at 182, or we are currently now at 181, 182, so they'll tend to break this resistance at 183, and they may do a fake breakout. So traders may think that, oh, we have broken out of this 183 resistance, and that's why we go and buy it. Apple is going to the moon. Let's buy it. But then after a while, after it breaks it, and then it comes down. So that's one of the way of how these market makers catch these retail investors, and they trap those who long above 183. So it's better to watch at these current prices. So if we see a bearish looking candle at 183, for instance, we see something like that, a very long shadow above, and then the price close around these levels. This is a very bearish looking candle, and then perhaps we know that there is more downside for this stock. For instance, like this particular candle here. If you were to see this at 183, then that's not really a good sign. Okay, and okay, these two are my 183 will be my resistance, and 191 will be my target, short-term target. So where exactly would my supports be? Okay, so firstly, 163 itself is a very strong support. You can see that buyers came back here at 163. So 163, right? I'm pretty I'm quite convinced that this will hold. But in the event that this does not hold, then 160 will be the psychological support. But if 160 were to break and it does not close above 160 on intraday, then you may expect things to be a bit more bearish. The market may be a little weak. And even though Apple is one of the strongest stocks, if it appears too weak, then there may be a further downside. But that's where these big institutions may take this opportunity to come in and buy from these retail investors who tend to just stop loss or get clear their positions. Looking at MACD, the MACD itself is actually pretty healthy. You can see that we went down recently, but we quickly went up. And the blue line has sustained above the orange line. So long as the blue line stays above the orange line, then we are pretty bullish. And if there's no bad news or if there's no uncertainty in the markets, then we can ride this bullish momentum up to about 190 or even 200. At 200, it will be definitely a psychological support because prices are at all-time high. So let's take a look at the weekly MACD to have a better idea as to what is happening. So if you notice, the weekly MACD or the weekly charts for Apple is very strong because it hardly ever touched the clouds. You can see that even before it touched the clouds, it went up. We find some support near the clouds, but it didn't touch it, and it continued going up. So now we are still far away from the clouds. And once again, we did see a strong reversal at 155, 156. So even though the MACD is looking a bit bearish here, overall it's still on the uptrend. It's still pretty bullish. And if you look at the monthly charts for a better understanding, let's take a look at the monthly charts. So long as this MACD for the monthly don't cut, the blue line doesn't cut below the orange line, it means that the momentum still continues. You see that on here, the blue line actually cut below the orange line, but then it went above immediately. So if you're a long-term investor, and if you look at these monthly charts for a better indicator, then you can actually just ride the wave up all the way because it hasn't tell us when exactly, it hasn't told us did the blue line cut below the orange line. None of the information has shown. So long as this thing continues to remain, then nothing to worry about. Don't have to exit your positions and you can just continue the uptrend. That's about it for this Apple charts. I'll be doing a recap once again. So Apple has been having a very good uptrend. So when the uptrend is there, it's just good to just ride it. And you can take partial profits along the way, but do not take full profits because if you sell everything, the chances of it going higher is very high. That being said, I'll be looking at this 183 target to see if there's any fake breakout above these levels because there's a lot of sellers above this 180 zone. A personal target of 191 for Apple stock. However, this is taking into account that 163 and 160, these levels must hold. If these levels do not hold, then we will break down. And then perhaps if we do not find a double bottom at 154, and we will continue trending lower and form lower lows, which is, I believe, is low probability of that happening because Apple is still an uptrending stock and it's very difficult for the trend to reverse over a short period of time, especially for good companies. So if there's anything else and any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thank you for stopping by and do check out the rest of the channel. Leave in the comment section below on your thoughts on this particular stock or if you have any other TA requests. Do also share this with your friends who are interested in market manipulation. Lastly, I do appreciate any feedback to improve the video content for you guys. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.